Good evening and welcome to HPM News. Today is June 11th.
And tonight we will be covering topics ranging from the invasion of Normandy to how the war affects our consumers.
Today I got the chance to interview Mr. Soyce, who is a hard-working factory worker.
Hard day at work.
Excuse me, sir. May I ask you a few questions?
Yes.
Today we have the chance to interview Mr. Soyce, who is going to tell us about the war effects on his life as a consumer. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
First off, can you start by telling me your opinion on World War II and our efforts?
Sure. Oh man. Well, you see with the new Victory speed limit at 35 miles per hour to help cut down on the amount of gas and tires we use, it does help save money on gas, but it's a nuisance to remember and adapt to.
That sounds like that'd be a struggle, especially if you're late to work. You told me earlier that you had a large family. How does it affect them?
Well, with these rations, it's hard to make sure everyone gets what they need when they need it. The other day, we didn't have enough coupons for our ration book to get what we needed at the grocery store.
Do you think that these ration books help keep things equal?
Ha! Me and my wife were talking about this just the other day. My wife thinks that they do help, but I don't think so, because if you are just an old couple, I don't think you need 4 gallons of milk every month. But if you have 4 kids like I do, then 4 gallons isn't really enough.
This is often a struggle in many households. What were your thoughts about when the talk of war first came about?
Well, right after Pearl Harbor, we stocked up on almost everything from food to clothing because we knew the U.S. was going to get involved, and we didn't know how it would affect our everyday lives.
Do you think that those preparations helped at all?
At first they did, but then our stash ran out faster than we expected. Now it seems that no matter how hard we work, we still have to deal with what the government allows us to have.
That sure seems like an unfair situation.
Heck yeah, it is.
Well, thank you for joining us this evening.
No problem.
Goodbye.
And we'll be right back after these messages.
Attention ladies, the U.S. wants you to support the red, white, and blue. I started working in my local tank factory and you can too, because we can do this.
And our other story tonight is about our brave GIs in Europe. These brave young men landed in Normandy, France, and there they faced the horrible enemy that are the Germans.
There were over 173,000 men that were part of the Normandy invasion. 163,000 landed on the beaches of Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, and Sword. Another 13,300 men were flown in and dropped behind the enemy lines.
We have heard that it was a little tough at first, but once they got their bearings, they were off and running. In no time at all, the war in Europe will be a thing in the past.
These men are the bravest on the planet. The enemy stands no chance against the GIs of America. And just to show you the fierce, unmatched strength of our GIs, we have received footage from a combat correspondent in an undisclosed location in Normandy.
What's it like here in Europe?
There's only one way to describe it, and that's foobar.
What does that mean?
Think about this. 13,000 men flown in 3 to 8 miles inland along a 20-mile stretch. Many of us missed our drop zone by 5 to 10 miles. When you jump out of the plane, your parachute opens for you. So that means you're already floating the second you're out of the plane. Then the guy above you gets shot out of his parachute, and if you're fortunate enough to make it to the ground, you have to battle the Germans.
Where's the rest of your division?
I got separated from my company. Our drop zone was just west of Utah Beach. My guys dropped right on top of the enemy and were killed, and others had a hard time navigating the hedgerows.
What was it like when you first hit the ground?
First I landed in the trees, and then I fell 15 feet down to the ground. And when I fell, my parachute and rucksack were torn off of me with most of my gear, except for my Colt 45 pistol and my canteen.
What is a GI equipped with? I bet it's the best equipment around.
The standard GI is equipped with an M1 Garand rifle and an 8-round clip, Colt 45, hand grenades, flares, 2 Hershey's bars, 2 coffee packets, and a pencil and a notepad. And that's just your basic stuff. There's probably another 50 pounds worth of stuff up in the trees.
What battalion are you in?
I'm in the 101st Airborne. we roughly had 7,000 to 8,000 guys. Combined with the 82nd, we probably had 13,000 men.
How much resistance have you had since June 6th?
There was heavy fighting along the beaches at first, but lately there's been a lot more smaller skirmishes along the hedgerows. The Germans wait behind the bushes, and as soon as you peek out, they mow you down with their machine guns. But lately,
Wow, that was graphic.
Thank you for joining us tonight on HPN News.